time for one of our favorite Spanish tapas, gambas pilpil.
For this, obviously, we need gambas. And we have here a dozen large Atlantic shrimps, and they look really fine. So first thing is to get them cleaned up. Now, there are a couple of ways you can do this. To get the head off, you can either choose to break it off like this, or you can choose a knife. That's all up to you. But save the heads, because we're going to put them to good use later. Then we continue taking off the skins here. And it's just in with your fingers and peel it off. It goes pretty easy. Now, you can choose to leave the tail on for presentation, but honestly, for this dish, I just find it's in the way. So just squeeze it out here from the end, and we have a beautiful shrimp. Look how big they are.
Wow, it is really
Gorgeous. That's going to be good. And on with the next one. I prefer the knife method, but again, you do what you want. Normally when we devein shrimp, we use a toothpick and jam it under here, and so we can pull it out so the shrimp remains whole. But these ones, they're so big that it doesn't really work. So we're going to have to take a knife and run it down the back here. Just butterfly it a little bit. And then we take out a vein like this. It's quite big in this one. So down on a piece of paper and just pull it out. There, make sure they're clean. Might wash them a little bit because I don't want to see this in the final product. There we go. There it came, all of it. So you see now it's a little bit butterflied, and we're just going to wash it out. Next up, we're going to prep our garlic, and we're going to need quite a lot of it. I think the technical term is called a shit ton of garlic. But first, we want to split the garlic like this, and then this middle, I don't know what you call that. It's like
a stem.
like a stem, yeah. You want to take that out because when you cook that, that has a tendency to become bitter. So we want to get rid of that before we cut the rest. There we go. Out with those. And then we are simply going to slice it relatively thin, not too thin, because we want to have a little bit of stamina so it can take some cooking. But you want it in slices. Last piece of prep, we are going to finally chop some broadleaf parsley. So as you can see, this is few and simple ingredients and quick to make. Here we have our mise en place, and make sure you have everything ready before you start cooking, because this comes together real quick. Cold, medium-sized pan, and we're going to add some olive oil, quite a lot of it. It depends on your pan how much you're going to add, but we need to have a good layer because this is going to be our sauce or garlic confit, so to speak. So I would say that was 100 ml. And we add our garlic, and then we're going to start this on medium flame and let it start to simmer. When it starts to simmer, we're going to turn down the heat so it bubbles very slowly, so we don't burn the garlic, and we create a wonderfully garlic-infused oil. And now it starts to simmer a little bit, and then we turn it down to the lowest flame, and then we let it go. And one little trick here is that you can, if you have a gas stove, is to let it go like this, and then take it to the side and let it boil slowly there. And now comes the second trick that we're going to show you, because to get some extra flavor here, we are going to add 3 heads of the shrimp. That's why we saved them, so we get some extra flavor here in our confit.
4 actually.
4, sorry. Yeah. 4. I can't even count anymore.
But you know, that's what gave the name to the dish, this pilpil sound that the oil makes as it bubbles up in the surface.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. That's kind of funny.
I was really wondering, what is gambas pilpil? What does that mean?
Cool. Well, now we know that also. And we just play with it here. It's a little bit involved. It will take some minutes before this is ready to move on. When your garlic starts to get a little bit of color, then we're going to take out our shrimp heads again. And if you could smell this right now.
Yeah, actually, that's a very nice natural
excellent.
flavor enhancer,
Yeah.
I would say.
And then we go in with a teaspoon of red chili flakes. You can put as many as you want, or little, depending on how hot you want it. This will give you, like, not too hot, but give it a little bit of spice. And then we let that go just for a little bit. Now it's time to add our shrimp, carefully so we don't split all over the place here, like that. Get them in a flat layer here so they can start cooking one side first, about 3 minutes maybe, something like that. They cool down the oil a bit, and that's actually what we needed right now because it was getting a little bit too hot. And then we're gonna go in with paprika. I have a tablespoon of smoked paprika I'm gonna sprinkle on top here. And then I have a tablespoon of spicy or hot paprika. You can use mild paprika if you prefer. That's all up to you. And that will get infused in the oil once we flip the shrimps. So just before we turn them, I'm going to sprinkle over a bit of our parsley so that gets in to the sauce. And then we're going to turn each shrimp so we cook it on the other side. The important thing here is that you don't want the shrimps to close totally together like this. They have to stay like
semi-open.
Semi-open, yeah.
Well done, yeah.
If they touch at the ends, they are overcooked, and then they will be like rubbery to eat. So these will be done in
It's a fine line there.
It is, and they need to get out of the pan immediately when they are finished, actually. And then we sprinkle over a bit of salt, but it needs a bit of salt. And final thing is a little bit of white wine. And again, also don't overdo this. I would say maybe
50 ml.
50 milliliter, not more. That cools down the oil a little bit so we can cook them a little bit slow and infuse the flavors into the sauce. And it will give a nice, oily, garlicky, perfect sauce for our shrimp.
You're full of tricks, baby.
I'm full of tricks and I'm so enjoying this recipe actually. This is almost done and we're going to serve this in a terracotta pot, which is done traditionally. Some people, they cook it in the terracotta pot, but the problem is that then it's so hot that then the shrimps, they keep cooking and then you get that overcooked shrimp. So that's why we're going to do it like this. So you see here, still open. So now we take them one by one into our pot here. And there they lie beautifully. So let's get the sauce poured over here. And don't worry about the metal spoon. It's not a non-stick pan, it's cast iron, so I can use metal tools. We want all of this goodness in here.
Oh, it smells so delicious.
It is one of our absolute favorite Spanish tapas recipes, this one. There we go, one beautiful plate of gambas pilpil. And now it's time to give this a taste and see if we stayed true to the recipe. But I think we did. Let's see. That's just fantastic. Garlic forward, but not too much, you know. And it has a little bit of spice in the sauce, but it's not kicking you in the ass. It gives that nice little there in the back of your mouth. But now I'll show you what the really good stuff is here. Slice of pan de cristal. There is a link down below how to make that. And then dip it in this wonderful garlic confit.
You have become Greek, you know.
That's all the money.